Hi there and welcome back, where today we're going to be talking about Nemophila's new song, Seize the Fate. And there's just something about that title I really like, Seize the Fate. You know, I think this is a band who now they're starting to get on a roll. I think their songwriting as well, they're starting to get in a groove of making songs with their own identity. And something about that confidence comes through in this title. They're always sort of competing with Unlucky Morpheus level of sort of dramatic titles for their songs now. And yeah, in case you can hear that, I do have the window open. I thought I needed a change of air in here. Now I've got the sound of most of Buchon coming in, as well as most of the mosquitoes. I kill all the mosquitoes, I replace them. There's nothing I can do about it. I'll be back in Japan in a week, that's all that matters. Anyway, talking about this song, I've been backwards and forwards on Nemophila for a while, since they first landed. I've always believed they were great musicians, always loved the lead singer's voice when she's doing that rock singing vocal. But, you know, I had mixed feelings on their songwriting, and just recently they're really starting to get into a groove where I'm enjoying their writing more and more. Now, it had often been on the less traditional hard rock songs where I'd enjoyed their writing more, and this song is definitely going in that hard rock direction, but I'll just start out the gate by saying I really like this one, and I'm going to break down why. So let's start first of all with the song structure. Structurally, this song isn't really doing anything too out there. It's starting with the intro where you get like insane guitar twiddling, the drum beats almost like just a rolling fill, and then you got the vocals come in screaming straight away. All the things that at first would kind of make me think, okay, where this is going, I don't know, but then it settles into just like a great rock rhythm, bouncing vocals. I'll get on to talking about the vocals more in a minute, and just sort of simple great guitar riffing. I like the way that works. Then as we get into the pre-chorus, the guitar settles down into a much more simple riff. You know, it stops going through chord changes, just goes into a riff, and then the vocals take on more of a melodic arc. So in the initial part, in the verses, it's all very rhythmic. The guitar's giving a little bit of chord patterns to add tension, but then when we get into the pre-chorus, as I say, guitar settles down, vocals start to build up, and that's really important because when we go into the chorus is all about hitting you hard. The drum beats are now landing on the first beat, whereas you'd usually get sort of kick, snare. Now it's just snare, snare, snare. It's very much on, well, actually more like snare, 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 but it's very much about sort of hit, hit, hit. It's got to land dramatically, and the chorus does. In fact, it's actually a pretty damn catchy chorus as well, which if you can deliver that sort of intensity and back it up by being catchy at the same time, that's a double win. You get stuck in people's heads, and you also manage to deliver something of a gut punch as well. So I liked the whole way it works, and I liked the fact that it was knowingly built up to, it was earned. Now, that obviously moves us on to one of the main things that really helps this song work, which is the vocal performance. Yeah, don't worry, I will talk about all the bridges and solos in a minute, but first of all, the vocal performance, I think, is something that can't be, you can't just miss this, because this is a big part of the song. I've said before, again, I love her vocal style when she's singing, when she's doing the rock thing. I feel that when she's sort of really getting into that gritty style of rock energy, hard rock singing, she delivers so much more power than when she does the screaming sounds. Yeah, I know I sound like an old man, just I don't care. But I really think she does. I think she delivers more energy and more emotionality to it. Just the feeling of just sort of being on the edge, you know, really singing her lungs out. And that comes across here. In the verses, as I said, it's all building up. She's very settled down. She's got a great rhythmic delivery, which I really enjoy. Mosquito. Or was that a fly? I don't care, whatever it is, I'm killing it. She's got this great sort of rhythmic delivery, which she does beautifully in the verses. Reminds me of how Star works so much, with having that little rap feeling to it. She's very good at doing that, but her voice is kind of fairly low, hunkered down, and then it builds up a sound in the pre-chorus, and in the chorus she really goes for it, but still keeping the rhythmic energy. She's mixing that grit with that power, with that rhythm. Yeah, I really am impressed by what she's doing here. I know some people want to hear more of the screamo stuff, and, you know, I'm not saying it can't work. It's just, as a general, this just feels like something which is more just straight down what she is good at. This is like a core skill she's got, and I just feel like this song plays so much to her strengths that she just, wow. Loved the vocal performance, thought it was really great, and she looked like she was having super fun with it as well. Although in the video, I've got to point out something about that long jacket. When you see her profile picture, like in the video, profile, all of her, thanks loud truck, and she's got like that long jacket on. The long jacket's so long that it makes her legs look really short, and it makes her look like she's like a little mini person. Interesting outfit choice. So I said I'd talk about the bridge and the solos, because a good bridge can make or break a song. And so here I am to talk about it. Now, as always, I'm not going to get into the technicalities of the twiddle of the solos, because what really matters to me more is the effect seriously, I shouldn't keep this window open. What I care about is the effect of the solos. Do they really work? And in this case, it really does. I like the fact that we kick in with the bass solo. That's a technique we've heard other bands do before. You know, Bandmate do that, and we've heard plenty of bands do that. Kicks in with the bass solo, which really sort of gives you a feeling of, something a bit lower down. Again, knowing how to build things up. And then the guitar solos themselves split into two different sections. We've got two distinct guitar solos really happening there. Both quite fast, both quite twiddly, but importantly backed up by the fact that the underlying instrumental, everything happening underneath the solos changes. It's not just recycling the chord patterns from before, it's knowingly sort of trying to get set an emotional basis for the solos to play off of. So what we're actually getting is a feeling that the song is developing rather than just going round again, but just so we can go around again and give you a chance of, well, you like what we heard before, this is what it'd sound like if I was soloing over it. No, it's a distinct development in the song. It is a bridge. It's when you get that nice fusing of what a good song-written bridge and a solo are together. Basically, a good developing chord pattern with a solo over the top. Made that sound more complicated than I needed to, didn't I? But yes, it works in all the way that you want from a bridge, and it also has the fun excess of the twiddly solo that everyone in hard rock loves anyway. So it's a perfect marriage of the two things. There's a mosquito on my monitor. Okay. Focus, Howard. So yeah, I actually really like the solo because it functioned in terms of a song. And for a song like this, which has such a driving feeling of building and developing and moving between its various sections so quickly, that was important. We didn't want to get hunkered down too much in a solo that was just there for sort of the arbitrary sake of it's hard rock. We need a solo. We needed a solo that actually had a purpose, and this felt like that. Maybe one slightly negative point I put towards the song is the fact that the mixing, it wasn't bad, but it wasn't particularly great. I felt there were certain points where the song started to sound quite muddy. At points the kick drum came through very clearly, but at certain points when it was playing quicker on double quicks, it did start to get muddy, and there was a feeling that the bass and the kick drum and the guitar started to slightly meld into a bit of a mush at points. Perhaps there was a little bit too much compression, but again, compression is not always the big evil. If the mix does not separate the sounds enough in the EQ, then the compression is always going to have that effect. But if the sounds are nicely separated in the EQ, then compression won't sound as dramatic. So for me, there was a feeling that perhaps the mix could have been slightly improved, considering that they were always going to give this song a fair amount of compression, given the hard rock stylings of it. So yeah, I felt there could have been some improvements there, but overall, it didn't ruin the song. Just maybe felt there was perhaps a little bit more life and liveliness that could have been brought out through a slightly better mix. So in conclusion, it sounds like I'm reporting by the sound of a motorway, doesn't it? So in conclusion, yeah, I really enjoyed this. I thought it flowed well, it had purpose, it got the most out of the singer, it got the most out of the guitarist, it just got the most out of everyone. There was good development there. Yes, it was a hard rock sound that we've kind of all heard before. There's nothing particularly unique about the sound of this song, but it was made to come alive by sort of good songwriting. Songwriting that wasn't reinventing the wheel, but was getting the most out of a pre-established style, that was getting the most out of the musicians who were present. I just felt it was a good, fun version of that song. It benefited from being catchy in a way that sticks in your head, and it benefited from being able to develop in a way that gave you a gut punch of energy. For me, this was this was kind of everything that I would ask for from a band like this. I love when I do sort of more out there experimental stuff. I'm always going to be on board for things like style, but if you're going to do your core sound, this is a good way to do your core sound. I enjoyed it, and certainly I'm really impressed at how quickly they're coming along, how quickly they're developing. Great stuff. So there you go, there's my thoughts. Leave your thoughts in the comments, tell me what you think, and until hopefully see you very soon in Japan for the next one of these. For now, ciao ciao. I am going to close that window. Mosquitoes everywhere.